Josh gets up into the control room. That's right, Josh, move at a glacial pace.
Come on, Josh.
We love that, especially your parents. Slowly the glacier is receding to the control room. I'm just talking until people take their seats. Background noise. There's no music. You hear me talk.
Let's change it.
Oh, the wizard's opening the curtains up there. Boys and girls, players, parents, distinguished guests, thank you all for coming. What a great looking group of people we are. Excellent. What a fantastic season we've had. I want everybody to give yourselves a big round of applause to start. Start right away. Thank you. So, this is an evening that some of us have all been looking forward to since the beginning of the year. And it actually goes without saying that there's a tremendous amount of effort that goes into putting this evening together. And we'll talk a little bit about that throughout the evening. But I just want to talk a little bit about the flow of the evening, what we're going to do. After I'm done saying a few words, Robin's going to come up. Robin has, and Vashti too, I think maybe Robin and Vashti. They've put a lot of work into putting together some great photos and some videos. No, all Robin, okay. That's Vashti's giving me the hook. We've got some great videos, we've got some great photos to show you and share with you as to what's happened over the past season. And it really has been a great season. It doesn't necessarily reflect in the scoreline in some of our games. We finished a little less than where we wanted to, but we had an absolutely fantastic year. And one of the things in the player evaluations that were just done is Coach Chris said to every player, he basically said, tell me the favorite thing that you had about the year and tell me what you changed. And one of my favorite things is standing here this evening as we kick off this event and we celebrate our team and the success that they've had. Not just the team, but all of us coming together. At the beginning of the year, you'll remember at the kickoff meeting, last year and this year, Robin said, we'll build a community around this team, and that's exactly what we did. So regardless of the score lines, regardless of where we finished, which was still pretty damn good, we have got a great second season under our belt. So a big round of applause, everybody, for that. We've all got some great memories we're taking away from this season. The first, talk a little bit about the tournaments. First on the turf, I think we lost a clipboard during that in a moment of anger when Robin might have chucked it. We may have had to attach bungee cords to Coach Chris to keep off the line and not be ejected from the game. It was kind of chilly, but not as bad as last year. The Heads tournament up in Hillsborough was a great event for us all and became very, very close. The tournament in Kingston, and parents, most of the parents, but pretty much every player mentioned how great the Kingston tournament was. So there was something magical that happened there, and we definitely will be looking at returning there again this year. And then the Ancaster tournament, which of course we took success and gold away in for the second year in a row. So well done, boys. The tournaments this year, you did extremely, extremely well. You played great as a team, and you shall be very proud of that. And of course, we have our last tournament tomorrow, something to look forward to. So we have to make sure that we stay on time tonight. This, of course, has been my first year as the manager of this team. I got to tell you, I've got some really interesting insights on Robin and Chris, as I say. There's some secrets available for sale. No, just kidding. I got to spend a couple minutes just acknowledging these two gentlemen. There are times when in the world our phones are binging and emails going off, etc. And then there's times when Robin's texting about soccer, and you're at work, and all you hear is ding, 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 ding. And then depending on the vibrations, I know that Chris is in on the game, and I think, oh shoot, I better start looking at my phone. I think there was one 10-minute span where over 150 texts were exchanged. Wow. So don't have any doubt about the level of commitment that these guys have to this team and to all of you. So, 149 were Robin basically saying, Chris, are you there? Alex, are you there? Chris, are you there? No, it's not your turn to talk. It's not your turn to talk. It's my turn. And for those of you who've heard Robin on the sidelines, at the end of the game, he always says, boys, my time. Robin, my time. You'll get your chance in a second. There's some other people I want to quickly acknowledge, and they're going to come up later, the social committee. The fabulous ladies of the social committee, stand up please. You all deserve a real quick round of applause. So without them, this evening certainly would not actually happen. So we're going to get right into the program. Unfortunately, you're going to have to listen to me a couple times come up. And Chris and Robin will as well too. But at this time, I'd like to turn it over to Robin.
All right, Robin.
I'm in trouble.
Welcome. Thank you, everyone. Those of you who've been here last year, this is your second year. For those new players like Tudor, Luca, you were here last year. Vince, right? Quite a few of you. Samuel, Aidan, this is your first time, so we hope you guys enjoy the evening. Just to respond, while Chris and I may have had one punchy court and sort, we didn't get a single fine, right? So we were good coaches, no fines incurred. Kingston, why did we like Kingston? There was one player who was very honest. Elias, he said it's all about his shopping. Right? I'm sure a lot of you guys will agree about that. No, Grant got some really good deals. So we'll be looking at doing Kingston again next year. I want to get into the program. So apart, Alex said it, welcome. We have a really nice program for you this evening. Joshua, not this one. Okay, so you can minimize this one and we get ready for the other montage.
Uh-oh.
Right? Before that, dinner will be served after we do this. And then we'll go into the more formal part of the program after dinner. So we are going to look at a montage that I did to basically review the season. So if we want to get some lights in the back there. You guys enjoy that? Bring back a lot of memories? Yeah, I actually started that in February. September, I gotta get a life sometimes. No, it was, that's why your photographs are so important. Getting them up on Team Snap and sending them out, even on Team Snap, on the chat, right? We can download them, etc. It's so important to get those in. I believe, Louisa, that dinner might almost be ready.
Possible.
Yeah, can you just double check with Ashley if the buffet is ready? Oh, good, yeah, they're coming out. So dinner will almost be ready in a short while. They're putting it out right now. What we have planned for you after dinner, we're going to review the season in slides. Thanks to Sean, we've got quite a few videos again done this year, and I've been able to clip the goals. Now, last year we had 120 goals, right? We didn't have that many this year, but the goals that we did have, right, I was able to clip them and put them into another montage. So we'll replay the goals from the season, and then we'll do some thank yous, etc. And we'll go into the awards. We got team awards, and then we got individual awards, and then we're going to be wrapping up. We look at the cumulative stats, right? Individual stats. I'm sure everybody wants to know how they did, right? Good. I said, you know, Oscar, how many goals did you score? Coach, I can't remember. Nobody can remember how many goals. I don't think they've been tracking, but I have, Alex has, right? And Chris has. We've been tracking it, so we'll show you that. And then we're going to wrap up. I want to get you guys out of here by about 9:30 tonight. Boys, we do have a tournament tomorrow, right? We weren't supposed to be doing a tournament tomorrow, and I just thought, just to kill some time while the buffet is set up. We were supposed to be playing that North Mississauga tournament last week, but unfortunately, with only 3 teams, North Miss, us, and Pickering, North Miss had to cancel our division. But we did, I did speak to the coach, and we had that beautiful friendly last week. And I think everybody here in this room wanted to know, where was that game all season? You guys played brilliantly. If you guys can reproduce that form tomorrow in Richmond Hill, you guys are going to do really well. Richmond Hill, when we canceled North Miss, I called Richmond Hill, and there was 1 spot left. We got it. So that's why we're in that tournament tomorrow. We got 3 games, 9 o'clock against Innisfil, 12 o'clock against UMSC, I believe that's Union Milliken Soccer Club, and then 3 o'clock, Vaughan Azuri. Vaughan is a tough team. Right, so we got our work cut out for us tomorrow. We get 3 good games in, we can qualify directly to the semi-final on Saturday morning, on Sunday morning at 9 o'clock, 9:30. All right, you guys ready for it? Yes. Yes? I'm not hearing you. Yeah. You know what? They're hungry. They're hungry. All right, so if the buffet is ready, we're gonna invite the boys to go up first. All right, starting with that side of the table. Ricky and Aidan Keegan, you guys can lead the way, right? And everybody, all the other boys can follow them. All right, kids, everyone. I trust that everyone had a good dinner. Dinner was good. Thank you to Louisa and the crew, right, for another delicious dinner. We're going to move right along. And we're going to do a bit of a review of the season. I'm going to ask Chris to join me up here. And boys, you might want to pay some attention to the screen. I'd like you guys to put your phones away on the table. Vince. That includes you. All right. So, you know, as we said earlier on, it's been a good season. It was not a season like last season. Last season in first division, we were the big fish in the little pond. But because we won and we did so well, we were promoted up to the first division, which was, Premier Division, which was a different kettle of fish, right? It was challenging. It was not without its challenges, but it was a learning experience, and it was a pretty good experience for the boys, I'm sure. So the next couple of slides, Chris and I will go through. We'll review all the segments of the season, and we'll, you know, maybe a little interactive with you guys.
Just before we actually go through this, one thing to add to that is, last year when we played, we had a winning season. Obviously we were beating teams by 15 goals, 16 goals. And as fun as that might be in the first couple of games, I think many of the boys here would attest that it became old hat. And as a development, you don't get development when you're winning 15 and 16 nothing. So this year, actually, having teams that we were equal to, maybe a little bit better or a little bit less than them in terms of talent, that's when you develop. So I would argue that this year, we actually developed a lot more than we did last year. And I think that showed, especially in the last couple of games that we played this season, where we left nothing on the field. Came off that field, and Coach Robin and I were very proud of how you guys played, how you've developed over the season. And we had to, in order to up our game to a Premier League status. So I think overall for me, this year was actually a better development than last year.
Okay, so what we have up there on the first slide is a season in review, the friendlies. We played a total of 8 friendlies for the season. The first 3, Bolton, Caledon, and Milton, they were played in fall and winter. Actually, all in fall, right? Milton, we played in December. Bolton, we started off Bolton, that was the 20th of October. I was in the hospital at that time. Chris took you guys out to Brampton, right, for that first game, and you guys smoked them 8-2, right? And that was their Bolton A team. Now, since then, Bolton has changed. That Bolton team we played back then was not the same Bolton team that we played. The Brampton teams and the Bolton teams and the Caledon teams, there's a lot of movement between those clubs. One coach decides, I'm going to leave, and guess what? He takes A players with him. And then they become now the Brampton players, Brampton A becomes Bolton A. Right, so that Bolton A, that we played, they went down to the first division. And that's where they played. So we didn't meet them again in this season. Caledon was another close game, right, out at North Park. Right, I think it was a 3-1. Again, lack of finishing. We didn't put the ball in the net, but we could have smoked them. Right, and I was confident that we could have taken Caledon. But you know, as you saw in the season, it was a little bit of a different story. Milton, we played indoor. That was a 1-1 draw. We were missing with our talisman striker, Blondie. Mr. Ben was not there, right? And who was it? Isa. Where's Isa? Isa. I think at the last minute, Isa is in front of the net, right? And he had a perfect opportunity to kill them off, and we missed, right? But those are things that we learned from. So we had a 1-1 draw against Milton, right? And then we went into spring. We started off with OKD, and then Mississauga, Croatia, where we don't want to see Victor Cabbage again, right? Net playing against us. And then we took on Waterloo B and Waterloo C, right? Good results in all of those games. We won all of those games. OKD being down 3-0 at halftime, right? I mean, they shot the living daylights out of you guys and out of us too, because we were playing a flat game, right? 3-0, we were down 3-0, and then you guys came back in the second half and put 6 on them and won that game 6-3, right? Mississauga, Croatia, we should have had about, how many? 6, 7, 8 goals, right? But their goalkeeper was injured, and we asked Victor if he could play.
So, let me ask you guys a quick question. Before a game, before any of these games or your league games or before any of your tournament games, do you get butterflies?
Always.
Not the moms. Not the moms. I was asking the kids. But that's good to know there, Mark. That's good to know. Okay, let me throw it out there in general. Do you guys get butterflies out there? Yeah? Yeah, I mean, so as the moms and dads in the room, they also get those butterflies too. And I can tell you as coaches, the reason that Coach Robin and I don't have a lot of hair left is because before these games, when you guys are getting those butterflies, we're getting them as well. We're just as nervous as you guys. We have to try and pull ourselves together to pull the best game that you guys can play before we get on that pitch. When the whistle goes, I think those butterflies go away, right? You've got a job to do, as Robin calls it. You go out, you execute, and you play really well. However, when the whistle goes, the butterflies don't go away for us. We're on that sideline rooting for you, but we're also nervous as heck. So just think, when you guys are on the field, your coaches are back there. I don't know how to explain it, but until we've got about a 3-goal cushion on any team, we're always nervous. All right. So those butterflies that you get before a game get you ready for the game. All right. So don't forget that as you go through life, you're going to get nervous before you do speeches, before you do things in school and whatnot, and that's a good thing because that's your body getting you ready for before whatever it is that you've got to do. So for Robin and I, our butterflies go usually by halftime or towards the end of the game when we know what the outcome's going to be, but we're there with you.
Except when we play Brampton, and I just have butterflies for the entire game. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? And you know, coming down, After the Waterloo game, we went into the regular season, and we'll talk about that afterwards. But that North Mississauga, that final game last week, that was supposed to be playing them at the tournament. We've played them twice before, right? At the start of U13, it was in fall or winter, we went up to Brampton and had Firehall place there, and we played indoors, and it was, and I believe it was a 1-1 draw, and then we did the penalty shootout with them, and we beat them 7-5 on penalties. And then we played them last year, right, in the North Mississauga tournament, when we should have won that game, we lost 1-0, right? We came back, and they played GHSL, we played Premier, and we smoked them 8-1. You guys did a fantastic job. All right, Josh, let's go to the next slide. Yeah. And to the PCCM staff that are there, if you are ready to bring dessert out, by all means, you can proceed with the service. Thank you. Okay, the internal scrimmages. These were very important games. OPDL fall, OPDL spring, right? We lost, what, is it 8-1, right, to OPDL in the fall. That was one at North Park, right? That was a tough game. Then we played them again at Mentor College, 4-1, right? So every game that we played the OPDL, we got better. We actually scored against them, and we conceded less goals. Playing against the OPDL, why do we do that? Some of you guys may be asking, well, why didn't we play the B team, right? Sometimes there's no love lost between the B team and the C team, right? I preferred to play the OPDL team. I think there was less of a bit of history between the players, right, first of all. Two, I had a good relationship with Savvy, the coach for the OPDL. And if we're gonna learn, I'd rather learn from playing against the OPDL team. And he was very supportive. After we played that first game in fall at North Park, he asked me, he said, Coach, can we get together in spring and do this again? And we did. We did it at Mentor College. And after playing them twice, where did we meet them? In the semifinals and first on the turf, right? And we shocked the living daylights out of them, but we talked about that. The U15s, right? The U15s were there training with us on a Saturday morning. And we played, what, 5 games against them, 5 internal scrimmages. Now that's where some of our stats kind of tank, right? But we scored 11 goals against them, we conceded 31, right? But that's a learning experience because that team was a very tough team. Have you seen those guys recently? They have grown, they have outgrown you guys in terms of their growth spurt. They're muscular, they're fast, and they're skilled, right? So playing them also helped us with our game. The U13s, playing the U13s, well, some may ask, why are we playing the U13s, why are we playing the girls? It's to help them. The same way we need help from the OPDL team, and we need help to develop from playing the U15s. The other coaches, they reached out to me and they said, you know, can you scrimmage with us? If we can help another Oakville team, right, we help them out. Those girls did well. And Roberto's boys, right, after they scrimmaged with us, we had how many of them come up? We had Harry, we had Benji, we had Tristan, right? Quite a few of them came up and they did well for us. So playing the Oakville teams in those internal scrimmages was very important as well. Best part though.
All right, so as many of you said in the interviews that we've had with you guys, or the reviews so far, that the tournaments were far and beyond the most favorite part of the season for you. And I can certainly understand that. I remember back to my days when I used to play as a youngster, going on overnights, getting actually billeted. That doesn't happen so much anymore. But you get to bond, you have time with the boys, and you get to know each other. And First on the Turf was the first one that we went to this year. We had a great showing out there. We really didn't know when we went up there exactly what to expect. We wanted to do well, but we didn't have high expectations. But what I would say is that we came out of that tournament with a lot of confidence, a lot of confidence. We saw some great play. As Robin alluded to earlier, we met the OPDL team, and I think we really shocked them, to be honest with you. The first half was absolutely phenomenal. The boys played really, really well, and I think we came away from that tournament with a bit of a feather in our cap and an extra bit in our stride. I think we shocked ourselves, to be honest with you. But coming out of that tournament, it really gave us what we needed to launch into the season.
I think the most crucial game at First on the Turf was the first one. Who did we play? Who was the first game at First on the Turf? NRSP. Who was not there for NRSP? Ogle and Bogle, right? Ogle and Bogle Ogle was there? Alright, Bogle was there. I stand corrected. They know the boys. We were down 1-0, right? But we were holding them. We were holding them. It was 0-0 at halftime. They went up 1-0, right? And it was thanks to Samuel with a cracking shot just from the top of the box, right? Beautiful shot, well placed, right? We got the equalizer, and that stunned NRSP, right? And for those of you who have been around in the other team last season that played above us, right? You know, you guys would have played, they would have played that NRSP team. We had a draw. We had a brilliant draw in that game. And then, you know, we moved it on. Rockwood was a tough one, right? So we went there with 1 win, 1 draw, 1 loss. We made it to the semifinals, and we met the OPDL, and man, for 5-10 minutes, we rocked them. We rocked their world, right? When we scored that goal, who scored in that OPDL game? How did Jack score? Jack, how did you score that goal? He's eaten. It was a tap-in, good. And after that, you know, the OPDL parents, they went quiet and so on, and we held them for the first half. I think you saw in the montage, the first one, there was Luca airborne, about 3-4 feet in the air, tipping that one over bar. That was a brilliant save. Unfortunately, we ran out of the legs in the second half, and you know, the floodgates opened up a bit, but it was a brilliant showing there. Then we went up to heads, and we did well, and we met Western Wolves. We played Western Wolves twice in that tournament. We had a draw, and then we had a loss, right? So we came second. We lost in the finals. We got second place in that one. And then we met them again, where? In Ancaster, right? They returned the tables on them. Right? And we went all the way at Ancaster for the second year in a row. Victor was on call-up, so this was Victor's second tournament, right? Lifting the trophy, and for quite a few of you guys as well. And then everyone talked about the Ambassador Cup. Ambassador Cup, that was Chris's tournament last year.
Yeah, so the Ambassador Cup, my eldest son, Zachary, we had been to that tournament at U15, U16, and U17. We actually won it at U15, came second, U16, and unfortunately U17 didn't make it through to the finals. But it was a great tournament, and again, it had everything that you could want in that one area. So I had mentioned to Rob that I thought a good competition, great location. It's far enough away that you have to stay overnight so the boys get to bond again. So really was a really good tournament. But what made it even better, at least for me this year, is the social committee and the group that got stuff together. So we did the fort tour, or the ghost tour. We did boat outing, and there was a bunch of different things. So those are the types of things I think that the boys will remember, and those are the types of things I think make the bonds all that much better.
Okay, so Alex just reminded us that we're running a little bit behind, so we're going to speed it up a bit. Quickly, looking at the next slide, the cup, right, speaks for itself. We had 3 games. First one, Noval Croatia, a beautiful 1-0 win, advancing to the quarterfinals, smoking Brampton Blast 6-2, right, and then a tough loss 2-1 to Bolton in the semi-final, right, but we made it to the semi-finals of the cup. Next slide. the league. This is where we had a bit of a challenge. 8 games, Bolton, Caledon, Brampton, Dixie, Milton, Croatia, and IMFC. 14 games, 3 wins, 4 draws, 7 losses. 23 goals for, 31 against. Couple of those, Bolton, the 2 draws, brilliant. Coming back in the last minute, second to last minute. Ben getting all 4 goals, 2-2, 2-2 in those 2 games to give us those 2 draws against Bolton. Caledon, some tough losses. Brampton, tough losses. We'll have more to say about that, hopefully with it by next week. Dixie, we dropped a game, missing 7-8 players, right, after we spoke them in the first one. Milton, that's what we say about Milton, this is better. Sean's here, he's on Milton. Croatia, a win and a draw. IMFC, a win and a draw. Boys, most of these teams are going to be there in Premier again next season. Those of you who make the team, we are going to be meeting these teams again. And I'm sure you're itching to turn the tables around on those negative results. We're going to turn those results around against Caledon, Brampton, and Milton especially. All right? Where are you wrong? Good. I think that's it just to get through those slides. Joshua, now what we've done here now is a montage of the goals. Right, so Joshua's going to switch the media. And he's, yeah, that one, Joshua. I hope you guys enjoy that. For you, right? Okay, so at this point, is that better? Can you turn it down? Okay, never mind, he's coming. Yeah, he's there. You got it now?
Yeah,
I think that's good. All right, we're going to move right along. And I believe Alex and Chris, they've got some thank yous to do. I'm going to hand it over to them.
Perfect, thanks, Robin. Your turn.
All right, so we do have a lot of thank yous that we want to give tonight. Obviously, you know, the team can't move on without all the support that we get from all the volunteers that help us out, as well as some of the sponsors that are out there. But first and foremost, what I'd like to recognize are actually all the parents in the crowd for bringing their kids out to practice, to tournaments, as well as to all the games. So kids, sons, let's give a round of applause to the parents. So for all the volunteers without whose help the team could not function the way it has this year, and it has been a fun season. First of all, I'd like to recognize the first aiders. So when I call your name, if you'd come up, please. Ethan, Ralph, Kateri, and Stephanie. We have a little something for you. So tirelessly, this group of volunteers would show up at the games and they would look after our kids as they would tend to fall to injury, and there was nothing better than getting an ice pack from one of these great volunteers to help out get those kids back up and back on the field. So thank you very much to you guys for the season, for the tournaments, pre-season and later. Thank you very much, guys. I'd also like to recognize our grounds crew. So Todd, if you would come up and accept the gift. I know your better half was actually part of the grounds crew as well. I think she actually may have done it more than you because you were away. But anyway, between corner flags, making sure that the nets were properly strapped up. Thank you for all your help this season, Todd. And everyone. Also like to recognize everyone out there that took photographs this year and put them out on Team Snap. As Robin said, you know, the more we get out there, the more we can put into the montages, and we had a whole slew of them this year, so thank you very much. I'd like to thank everyone who brought tents and brought food to the games. All right, so especially in the tournaments, it was well received by the boys and everyone else. Also, I'd like to recognize for tonight, and I'm talking about the social committee a bit further down, but also tonight for what you see in front of you and everything that is going on tonight. The social committee was very involved in putting this together, and it's not an easy thing to pull off, but the social committee makes it look easy. As well, the beautiful centerpieces in the middle there. Thank you to Dagmar and into Flowers. Thank you very much for that. I'd also like to recognize the sponsors. So Ralph, MTV. So thank you very much, Ralph, for the sponsorship this year. I'd like to recognize Allstate, and that was brought to us by Alex's sister. So thank you to Allstate. Again, Dagmar, Into Flowers, for the sponsorship this year. Thank you very much. Big West, Robin's company. So thank you very much, Rob, for the Big West. Dr. Utica Chan, is that right? Utica Chan? Utaka Chan, sorry, which is Alex's dentist. Is that right?
Wow.
So,
Dentist.
Alex is everyone who knows that. Just so you know. Again, Team Alex, which is Aviva, where Alex works. They were a sponsor this year as well, so thank you very much again, Alex. Oscar for donating his birthday contribution to the thank you very much, Oscar. As well, Glen Burnie School. So again, that's Alex hitting up the school where he's paid probably about, what, $500,000 to have his kid go there. So they sponsored us back a few dollars. So thanks again, Alex, for getting that one. And so if I can get the social committee to stand up. So Rwanda, Karen, Dagmara, Vashti, and Stephanie. You guys could just stand and stay standing for a minute while we give you a big round of applause. This group has worked very hard over the entire season to make it a fun season for one and all. And our hats are off to you guys for the amount of work that you put into this, because it's not an easy task to pull off any of these
let's not forget
things. So from tournaments when we were away, to this dinner tonight, to organizing trips while we were away on tournaments and stuff like that. So for all the work and everything that you've done, thank you very much. So boys, a round of applause for the social committee that made it the extra special season that it was.
Five ladies and Alex.
Alex knows how to work it.
Alex has a cap. Alex has a cap. Okay, we got one more thank you to do, and I'd like to recognize and say thank you to Sean Vera for giving up his personal time to come out to our games, some of our games, and do the recording. Sean doesn't have a kid on this team. It's been
I've
a
adopted
tough year
everybody.
for Sean as well with his with Matt and his work schedule. Trust me, I know about it. So Sean, we'd like to say thank you very much.
Let's get a picture.
When I call your name, I'd like you to stand up, please. Isa, Daniel, Yanni, Victor, and Vince. I need to say no more. Our 5 call-ups. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Without your help, the team would have had a pretty tougher season. You contributed well with the boot at practices and on the field. Well done. Thank you very much. We get now on to the very exciting part of the evening, where we have the team awards. I'm going to be doing a lot of reading, so I'm going to get my glasses on. And we will need some help. Chris and Alex will need some help. I think Vashti or Rwanda, they've got it. Yeah, the Gala PowerPoint. You got it? You got it, Josh? Okay, see if you can figure it out. Right? I'll have to continue on, Josh. If you can, that's great. If not, well, we get going. Okay, boys, I'd like you guys to pay attention and let's lend your support to all your teammates. A good prospective player was unlucky with injury and teenage growth issues, worked hard at his practices and games. Unfortunately, he had to go to Egypt for vacation, so we lost him for most of this season. But before he left, he was able to play 5 internal scrimmages with us against the U15s, 5 friendlies, and he played 2 PHDL league games. With 2 goals, 1 assist, Isa Ahmed. What up, Isa? Always stronger, right? The next player is a good left-footed player. He has the drive to get forward. He's been working hard at his game. Scored a crucial goal for us against Croatia to help us win and advance in the cup. 5 internal scrimmages against the U15s, 7 friendlies, 5 PHDL league games, and 1 league cup game with 6 goals and 3 assists, Daniel Muller. Alright, we got it. Nice. Joshua's back on track. Well done, Joshua. Let's hear it for Josh. Okay. The next player. He could have been with any of the other teams in the age group. He made a decision to get back into soccer in January, and we eventually offered him the opportunity to do so. He's been working hard at getting back into his game and getting back into form. And I think the work that he did with us at practices and games has certainly helped him in that aspect. He played 4 friendlies for us and 7 PHDL league games. I had him, he would have maxed out all 8, but we had a reschedule. With 2 goals and 2 assists, Yanni Kaidonis. This next player, I was glad that he stayed attached to the team instead of leaving after the last season. He's been working very hard on improving his game. I know our players hated him when we loaned him to Mississauga, Croatia in spring, right? But we still love you. I've seen him gaining in confidence every time he steps on the field. I would strongly encourage him to stay on that track. 5 internal scrimmages against the U15s, 7 friendlies, 6 PHDL league games, 10 games in 2 full tournaments at Heads and Ancaster. He shared 11 clean sheets in 33 games, Victor Kabaj. On the 18th of February this year, I was scouting the House League, and I was glad, guys, can you guys pay attention, please? Remember? Alright, so I was scouting the House League on the 18th of February, and I was glad I was doing that. Otherwise, I would not have found him. And what a find he was. Tall, powerful, fast, and hungry to learn and do well. Listens extremely well and is always striving to do better. 5 internal scrimmages against the U15s. 5 friendlies. 8 PHDL league games, maxed out his 8 call-ups. 14 games in 3 full tournaments at First on the Turf, Heads and Kingston, and he's called up for tomorrow at Richmond Hill with at least another 3 games. With 17 goals and 10 assists, Vince Stipic. Like those pictures up there. The next player raised his hand to be counted after being called up for 2 games at U13. He stood out at the tryouts and we had to make a very difficult decision for this position. We decided to give him the job this year. Good reflexes, he's integrated well into the team, he's still learning his game and with a great attitude to go with it. A pleasure to coach, our guardian of the Citadel. He shared 18 clean sheets in 54 games, Luca Catallo. Don't get him here for this, huh? The next player came to us from the other team, and that presented a challenge for him in particular because he had to relearn our way of playing. I think he was surprised to quickly learn that he could actually go forward and play and get involved in helping to build the attack without getting yelled at for moving up the field. His experience was valuable in our backline, and his slide tackles are a thing of beauty. With 1 goal and 4 assists, Aidan Connell. The next player also came to us from the other team. He has a low center of gravity and strong legs that helps to keep him on his feet. He's extremely shy and quiet though. Sometimes you have to look for him. He has the potential to become a great utility player. His tie-in goal against NRSP in Guelph at First on the Turf is just an example of the potential we see in him. With 6 goals and 12 assists, Samuel Angarita. The next player is a solid utility player who never says no to playing in any position. He goes out and plays to the best of his ability every time. He leverages his good change of pace well, especially on the wings. He's one of those center mid players that constantly nips at the opponents and frustrates them. When he goes forward, he can be so dangerous. With 4 goals and 10 assists, Kobe Ye. he was kept out of the team last season, he did not walk away. He was another one who did not walk away. He listened to our advice and worked extremely hard. So much so that he not only made the team at tryouts, he absolutely bulldozed his way back into it. That is motivation. His work rate is unequaled among his peers. Amazing strength and endurance, skill and knowledge makes him one of the key gears in our midfield engine, transitioning from architect to attack to defense. I was absolutely, not only me, but I'm sure everybody else was, we were absolutely blown away by the effort and quality of his play in 30 plus Celsius temperatures with no food or water during his observance of Ramadan for over a month. His attitude and application to his game is one to be emulated by every player on this team. He deserves our admiration for this and shows that there's a time to have fun and a time to buckle down to play and win. With 10 goals and 19 assists, Elias Frigi. We call him Mr. GQ, check the suit. Okay. Alright, remember we gotta listen to all the players, okay? This next player, his high work rate gave him the nod over other players for selection after tryouts last season. It allowed him to compete on the right and left flank and sometimes up front as a striker. I was concerned, hey, you guys sound just like Femi last year. That he was trying to guess. I was concerned about his small stature, but sometimes that made him underestimated by his opponents. He is not afraid to go up against players twice his size, but when he got injured in the OPDL game on the 8th of April, I was anxious for him whether he would compete in the Easterns on the 11th of May. Soccer at that point in time was the furthest thing from my mind for him, but he recovered and I was so relieved. I, like many others among us here, we were glued to the streaming video to watch him finish third all around with 2 silver medals on parallel and horizontal bars and 2 fifth place ribbons on the pommel horse and rings. Suddenly for me, seeing him succeed at his beloved gymnastics was more important than seeing him in cleats. We are all extremely proud of him, and I know that one day, listen to this carefully, gentlemen, I know that one day in the not too distant future, when he is wearing the red and white for Canada, standing behind the 5 Olympic rings, the Pan Am and Commonwealth Games flags, we will all still be cheering him on. I'm proud to know that he's our teammate. 5 goals, 7 assists, Keegan Mountain. We knew he had the potential and skill to be an extremely tough player. We saw that towards the end of last season, especially in that memorable Dixie game when he came alive. But this season, something happened that clicked inside of him and made him say to his mother, "Mom, I'm not afraid to go into the tackles." And just that simple realization has turned his game into one I as a coach relish. Extremely tough, hard, strong, fast, skillful, and aware. He commands a presence in the field. You can hear him always talking to his teammates, calling for the ball, directing the play, transitioning from attack to defense. He's building a great chemistry with Ben and Krish up front. They're budding into the team's 3 musketeers. And you just gotta love his hat. Kateri, don't you dare touch his hat. With 13 goals and 17 assists, Jude Cole. Terry, don't you dare touch that hat. That was Terry. The next player, this was a transition year for him. Selected at U13 primarily for his position at left back. I experimented with him this year, moving him higher up the field because of his deadly left foot and his ability to turn on a dime and shoot on the swivel. We just saw it in the montage, right? Excellent service balls from his corner kicks. Rotated him back into defense in the latter part of the season, and his returns speak for his ability in this his transitional year. With 11 goals and 16 assists, Jack Walker. An intense player who carries his emotions on his sleeve. He takes personal responsibility for every goal we concede and every shot that we miss. Sometimes he is too hard on himself, but he is one of the gears in our midfield engine. He continues to give 100% in every game for his team, demonstrates passion for not only the game, but for his team. Gave up his birthday dollars and donated to the team. Which teenager does that? And he's still competing with Aidan and Matthias for the deepest dimples on the team. With 12 goals and 3 assists, Oscar Kowalczyk. The next player, he came to us from Burlington. When I was introduced to him, and after seeing him once, I gladly agreed with his father for him to train with us in their postseason before our tryouts, and he earned his spot on the team. He has become one of the key attacking players on the team and has developed good partnerships with the players in the middle. Much will be expected of him as he continues with us. He has fitted in well into the team and is a pleasure to coach. 18 goals, 17 assists, Tudor Barsan. The next player has continued his strong play from last season and is becoming a stronger player on the wing. Has been a pinch hitter at wing back, both left and right. Has played center defense and even center midfield this season. Grit and determination combined with strength makes him a tough customer. He gives us that muscle we need in the middle or in the back line. He always shoots for the stars, which is a very good thing. Now, if he could just keep his shots a little bit lower, he will more than double his tally of goals. 7 goals, 9 assists, Luis Olestia Ayala. The next player, I had so much plans for his ability this season. Unfortunately, he had an extreme bout of bad luck with injuries that started in winter and spring that kept him out of the game for about half the season. However, when he was fit enough to play, I moved him from the rigors of midfield where I had wanted him to play originally to play him in center defense. And what a find he was there. He used his height well, and he has one of the best headers on the ball to clear the danger. Is fast adapting to his new role there and is integrating well into the defense team. He's now giving us more options for defense and midfield. steadily growing in strength and confidence as he got back into the season. No goals as yet, 4 assists, right, and a tower of strength, Matthias Morgan. The next player, this was his coming out season. In the preseason, I had slated him to strike up front with Ben, but he begged me to play him on the left wing, so I did. His work rate and lightning speed made him extremely dangerous on the flanks, but I switched him to the right wing to better use his speed and for him to drive into the area with the ball on his shooting foot, because on the left wing, he'd have to stop and put the ball onto his right. Then I started playing him right up front with Ben. Guess what? He loves it there. And just as important, Ben loves working with him now, having him as a partner. So much so that in practices, when I tried to split the team up, and I split them up, Ben protests. Ben goes and gets a penny and gives it to him so that they can work together up front. And I think this partnership will get even stronger. The only thing I have to remind him is to take out his earring. With 11 goals and 20 assists, Chris Ramari. He's got the earring on. You can wait tonight, buddy. Voted as one of the most improved players last season, we have seen him become one of the stabilizing forces in our defense this season. Strong, hard, tough, determined are but some of the adjectives we can use to describe him. Certainly this was the season that he emerged. One of the key players in our defense with consistency and strength in every game. From a consistency perspective, as a coach, you can count on him day in and day out to get a steady performance. You always know what you're going to get when he's on the field. No nonsense, a steady Eddie type of player. Doesn't give in to bigger players. A slingshot for an arm on his throat, just like Luka. I'd like us all to stand and acknowledge him. 0 goals, but 9 assists, Liam Boone. From right back to left back, to center defense to center mid, to right wing. He has played net for us in 2 semi-finals and 1 final, including a nerve-wracking penalty shootout in Kingston. And he's a defender. With that size 13 boot, you don't want to be on the receiving end of one of his tackles. Good change of pace, and is not afraid to make the overlapping run. And yet still, he manages to have that killer smile and calm demeanor. It must be the father's influence. With 3 goals, 6 assists, 1 clean sheet in a shutout in a final, Ricky Shortstop. When I saw him at tryouts, I saw in him a vision of a player like one that was on Joshua's 2001 team. He was green and inexperienced when I selected him, but that potential was there. He has made great strides in learning his position and is getting better with every game he plays. I have confidence that he will morph into into that vision that I have for him. Fast becoming a sturdy defender, a wonderful attitude, and a pleasure to coach. With 2 goals, 1 assist, EJ Song. When he lost Bartek as his partner in the back, he was worried. Then, with Aidan, Ricky, Matthias, and sometimes Luis partnering, he had to make a lot of adjustments to his own natural game to find chemistry and communication with each of his new partners. It seems that because we lost Bartek's giant height, that he decided to grow nearly 6 inches in 1 year. And that has given him and the team a needed height advantage over our opponents. Extremely calm under pressure, does not panic with the ball, and starts the attack with intelligent balls forward that usually finds the target on the pass. Marshals the defense well. I'll certainly not forget his deadly direct free kick to score in the top corner from 25 yards out against Guelph, and he wore the captain's armband well for his team. My son, with 3 goals and 5 assists, Aaron. Last year, I called him the smiling babyface assassin. Well, this year he's grown and he's muscled out quite a bit this year. So now I call him the blonde bomber. These are some of the affectionate monikers that I have for him. Deadly up front with an uncanny knack for finding the net. And yes, maybe one day, Ben, I will play you at left back where you ask me to put you every time I sub you off. Last season, when we were in the easier first division, he scored 57 goals with 19 assists. This year, in a much tougher Premier Division, I wouldn't give his stats as yet. All I will say is that he has a whole lot of goals. He gave me regular updates when he was reading my book and was one of the first persons to finish reading it. Proud to have Ben on the team. Ben Kowal. At this point in time, I'd like to invite Jack and Elias up, please, to the mic. Jack and Elias, please.
Greetings, parents, coaches, and teammates. Today we're here to celebrate our amazing season.
It was filled with many ups and downs, but in the end it was a great season with a lot of memories to be cherished.
First, we would like to thank the first aiders, Stephanie, Ralph, Kateri, and Ethan for supporting us every game and treating all of our injuries.
Also, thank you to Daniel, Victor, Yanni, Vince, and Isa for stepping up when players were away and injured.
You guys played a key role this season.
We'd also like to appreciate Sean Vieira for his incredible videotaping.
As well as Todd Boone for bringing our equipment to practices and games.
We would like to commend Rwanda, Karen, Vashti, Steph, Dagmara, and Alex for your amazing at organizing all of our events and team dinners. We are grateful to have our families for driving us to games and practices, paying our fees, supporting us on and off the field. We know that it took many hours out of your day, and we are very appreciative of all you've done.
We're really grateful for our families for paying our fees and driving us to all our games and supporting us on and off the field. We know that it took many hours. Thank you, Manager Alex, for doing all the team financials and tracking the stats.
We would like to praise Coach Chris and Coach Robin. You guys have sacrificed multiple hours of your time to coach us and teach us how to be a better team and a better individual player, providing us with knowledge on the sidelines.
In conclusion, it's been an amazing year with many ups and a few downs, but in the end it was all okay because we had a lot of fun and learned a lot.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I believe Rwanda.
Thank you, boys. It's a little surprise ad lib that we wanted to get on a schedule today. I'd like to ask the social committee to come up with me, please. Okay. And Robin and Chris and Alex to step forward. We just want to take this time on behalf of all the parents to thank you, all three of you, very much, and to echo what Elias and Jack just mentioned. You pour your heart and soul into our boys, and your commitment to our boys doesn't go unnoticed. We know that you're very dedicated to them on and off the field, and we want to thank you very much for everything that you do, from spreadsheets to your personal time on the field, training them, thankfully calling last-minute practices off due to weather. I know some parents appreciate that. So with that, as parents, we got something. I'll give the social committee just to say a special thank you on behalf of all of us in this room for all the things that you do for our players. So I think I echo the sentiments in this room that we really appreciate what you've done for our boys this season. So thank you very much.
Really appreciate it.
Okay, now back to Robin.
We are running behind schedule, so
Come on.
we'll try and accelerate it a bit. We've got to do the end of season awards now, and then I have to show you guys the montage. We're running behind, and this is what we have to look at that third one. But before we do that, we'll just juggle the schedule a bit, and we will go into the end of season awards. Okay, the first award is the Player's Choice Award, voted by his peers as the player they think the highest of. An admiration by your peers is an honor. It was a close vote with a handful of players on almost every single ballot. I'm going to call from 5th position with 10 points, Krish. You guys don't come up yet, right? In 4th position with 20 points was Ben. In 3rd position with 28 points, Ricky. In 2nd position with 31 points, it was Jude. Last year's winner was Oscar. This year, with 33 points, the winner of the Players' Choice Award is Elias Freely. Elias, you can come up now. Elias. Oh, you gotta come up. Yeah, the winner comes up. Well done. Congratulations. The next award is the Parents' Choice Award. This award goes to the player who the parents, you yourselves, have selected. From the bleachers and the chairs, you see the whole game as well and have observed all our players. Not surprisingly, almost the same subset of players were also on your ballots. And in done, calling from double figures. In 6th position with 10 points, Liam. In 5th position with 14, Ben. In 4th position with 20, Elias. In 3rd position with 21, Jude. Notice, Elias 20, right in 4th. 3rd, 1 point away was Jude. In 2nd position, just 1 point away with 22, was Krish. Last year's winner were Aaron and Bartek. This year, with 25 points, the winner of the Parents' Choice Award is Ricky Schwartzkopf. Ricky, don't go too far. Stay right there. When I asked him, we have a special award this year. When I asked him, the look on his face was priceless. Like the proverbial deer caught in the headlights. Scared, reluctant, and unsure. But he recovered, and even though not ecstatic, he agreed to play the position I asked him to. Another player may have fainted, but he took the gloves and he went to net in the semi-final in Kingston and helped us to a 2-1 victory over Brampton Blast. He then kept a clean sheet in regulation time in the final in Kingston, 0-0 versus Brantford Galaxy. He had 2 brilliant saves in the penalty shootout. And remember, he's a defender. Then in the League Cup semi-final, with Luca injured and Victor away, I asked him to take the gloves again, and he had several big saves helping us to a 6-2 win to help us advance to the semi-finals. We need to recognize him with a special award, Ricky Schwartzkopf. Rebuilding a team is not an easy job. After losing 4 players to the B team last year and having released 3 players after our last season, we had to find the right combination of skill, desire, and hunger coupled with a willingness to learn. When you have new players coming into the team setup, it is sometimes difficult for those new players to integrate quickly. But those that are able to do so, to learn quickly, to demonstrate consistency, to stand out as performers, deserve to be recognized. The Rookie of the Year award is given to the top performing player in his first full season playing rep. I am proud to announce that we have 2 recipients of this award, PJ Song and Krish Rangaru. Most Improved Player Award. The award goes to the player on the team selected by the coaching staff who has demonstrated sterling and outstanding application to learning and self-improvement. This is the player who listened to advice from the coaches, made adjustments to his game and kept striving to do better. And in so doing, he lifted his game, lifted the team, and made the team stronger. Game after game, his work rate, effort, discipline, and dedication to becoming a better player was evident. His presence on the field gave his teammates confidence knowing he was there. Last year, we had 2 winners of this. That was Liam and Matthias. This year, I am extremely pleased to present the Most Improved Player Award to Elias Friggy. This award is one of the most sought after and prestigious awards of all soccer. Sometimes it is easy to already know who the winner is. Scoring a goal is not easy. How many times do we see players get in front of the net and fail with their shot? How many times do we see players squander the few chances that the team has worked hard to create? But when you look at his play, he's usually there, in the right spot at the right time, to pounce on the rebound, to accelerate past the defender, or round or lob the keeper, to calmly slot the ball home. Most of his goals are not the spectacular bullet or cannon of a shot to burst a hole in the back of the net. Most of his goals are calm, canny, and a savvy tap-ins or well-placed shots. And every time he does so, he gives his team a chance and gives them something to defend. Last season in the easier first division, his final tally was 57. Now I'm coming to the stats. This year, in the much tougher Premier Division, against much tougher teams, and this is the most important part, without a bona fide strike partner. Last year he had Femi and Andre. He has had part-time partners up front. This year he has surpassed last year's tally. He has led the leaderboard in all segments of the season. 30 goals in 15 games in fall and winter scrimmages and friendlies. 23 goals in 24 games. 23 goals in 24 games in spring friendlies and tournaments. 11 goals in 17 games in the competitive league. He deserves our admiration and adulation with a whopping 67 goals. The Golden Boot for the 2nd consecutive year. Last year we called him the Smiling Assassin, this year he's the Blonde Bomber. Please rise and congratulate Ben Cohen. The last award of the night. This award is given to the player who has demonstrated skill, leadership, and consistency throughout the season. Extremely tough, hard, strong, fast, skillful, and aware. Commands a presence on the field. You can hear him always talking to the teammates, calling for the ball, directing the play, transitioning from attack to defense. The application he has made to his game is sterling. The focus he brings when he steps onto the field is something all other players need to emulate. Grit and determination, work rate and effort he puts out is something all other players need to emulate as well. He transitions well into all aspects of the game, has a good soccer brain, is not afraid to make suggestions to the coaching staff based on what he sees out there. He is growing in strength and stature on the field. He knows when he has made a mistake and is wise enough to listen to his coaches and correct it. Without his effort this year, we would have had an even harder season. He is building a great chemistry up front. A player who has demonstrated every quality we asked at the start of the season and who has performed consistently throughout the season. The winner of this year's MVP Coaches Award, and again, you just gotta love his hat, Jude Cole. Joshua, can you put up the second to last slide for me, please? Slide. The one with the stats. The PowerPoint for you to run. That one is second to last slide. Got it? Okay, boys, have a look at it. These are all the stats. Right? I have it there, fall and winter, friendly and tourneys, right? And the league. You would see the leader, Ben, with 67 goals. In second place, Tudor, 18. Vince, 17. Jude, 13. Oscar, 12. Jack, 11. Krish, 11. Elias, 10. Oliver, 10. Luis, 7. Daniel, 6. Coming down the line. Right? That's the tally of goals for the season. Look on the other side, guys. Assists. Top of the leaderboard. Krish with 20. Elias, 19. Ben, 18. Jude and Tudor, 17. Jack, 16. Guys, when you score a goal, the assist, very important. I will send this to you guys. I will email this one to you. So well done. Every single one of you guys, right, on the team made a contribution. Well done. A round of applause. Joshua, go to the last slide. Next one. No, oh, yeah. Keep going. Sorry. Keep going. Good. Yeah. I want you guys to have a look at this slide. It will take time. It will hurt. It will require dedication and sacrifice, but it will be worth it. That's on the dressing room, on the walls of TFC. Take a look at this photo. Look at the caption that's written on the wall. The player in the photo is Martin Davis. He's from Jamaica and has played in the national colors for the Reggae Boys. His mother sent me that photo, and he was drafted into the TFC Academy and was on the second team. He played for TFC too. He lives by this motto and she calls him the Dream Chaser. It will take time. It will hurt. It will require dedication, sacrifice, but it will be worth it. You guys need to remember that as we prepare to go into U15. Okay, boys, you ready for it? Ready for the challenge? Good. And Joshua, you can run. We have one final montage to show you guys. I'd like Louisa, the folks at the back. Hold on, Joshua, 1 second. I have one more set of thank yous to do before we run the final montage. And that is, first of all, on a personal level, for me to acknowledge both Chris and Alex. Without two gentlemen, we've said it before, without their support, their advice, and their calm demeanor, especially at games, right, we would not have been able to get through the season. I am deeply in their gratitude, right, and their debt for all of their support for the past 2 years with Chris, Alex, especially for the past year, and he was there in the background in U13 as well. But thank you very much, gentlemen. And don't let Ralph get onto that, eh? He knows what it is. The last one, I'd like to say a very special thank you to Dagmara, right? Dagmara and I walked into Dagmara's shop. I told her, don't. She said, yes, leave me alone, go away. We'd like to say thank you very much for all of your support, the beautiful centerpieces last year and this year again. All right, staff at the back, can we just dim the lights, please? Yeah.